Christmas is a time for giving, but it's also a difficult time to deal with waste, especially food left over from Christmas lunch. Joining me live now is OzHarvest founder Ronni Kahn. Ronni, Merry Christmas to you. Thank you very much for joining me on Christmas Day. Firstly, I was at the Queen Victoria markets yesterday, and you only had to be there to see there was absolutely no shortage of people piling up to get their food in for the big feast. Just how much extra food do we buy at this time of year, and how much do we expect to go to waste?
Oh my goodness, we so overbuy because we want to entertain with joy and we want abundance. And unfortunately, we generally tend to buy way more than we need. So there's some beautiful things we can do with those gorgeous leftovers. Definitely, we don't want them to go to the bin. So we should be utilizing it all. You can make frittatas. You can turn fried rice into an exotic dish with all the leftovers from ham to fish to whatever you have. Also, our freezers should be used as pause buttons. Don't leave it in the fridge thinking, oh, I will use it, and then not turn it into something else. Rather put it in the freezer for when you are feeling creative.
What are some of the other big mistakes that we generally make which sees more food tossed out at this time of year?
Literally that we finish our meal and there's all this beautiful produce left over and we think, okay, we're not going to do anything with it. We'll just put it exactly as it is back in the fridge. And then the next day we might get invited out, or that night we get invited out, or we don't want the same. And then it literally sits in the fridge where we didn't throw it away in the first place. And we thought we were being good. But a few days later, it feels less painful maybe to throw it out. But one, it's costing us a fortune. Literally, you are throwing away dollars into the bin. And two, it's costing both our planet and the economy. So for a little bit of effort to take that produce and just recreate with it in the first instance, one, it's going to help you in the long run because you're going to have all this lovely other prepared food. And two, you can feel so good knowing that you're not wasting food, you're not wasting money, and that's good for all of us.
My family actually celebrated Christmas early this year, and I know that I put the baked ham into a soup afterwards. But I've also heard another really good tactic for people, not just about the leftovers, but whilst you're actually eating, to rather than perhaps serve everyone up, allow people to go and take their own small bits. So it's even just reducing the amount of leftovers on your plate that you would then toss into the bin.
Yeah, absolutely. When people serve themselves, sometimes we have this notion that our eyes are bigger than our stomachs. But if you take less to start off with, it's definitely going to help because it's not going to contaminate the rest and you're not going to have lots left on your plate. So rather start small and then go back for seconds. Definitely always a good one.
Now, Ronni, OzHarvest teamed up with Woolies this year for your Christmas appeal. How did that go?
It has been extraordinary. I want to thank every single Woolies shopper out there because, Andrea, just by rounding up, you know, if your bill was $24.85 and you rounded up to 25, so just that 15 cents in these 6 weeks from the middle of November to yesterday, OzHarvest, through these magnificent shoppers, has raised $3 million, which means we can deliver more than 6 million meals. Is that not unbelievable?
That's huge. That's huge. How has COVID impacted OzHarvest?
COVID impacted us significantly. I mean, in the first instance, when there was panic buying, there was very little food on the shelves. So food fluctuations were huge. And then when the hospitality industry shut down, there was masses of food because every single business called us to collect food. But over the period, there have been times when the need and demand is so great that we, for the very first time, have had to purchase food. Thanks to government funding which came in, and again, individuals and our corporate sponsors and partners, we have managed to fill the need, but our charities do tell us they could take at least 50% more food. So the thing about food relief is, unfortunately, there is a whole new demographic of people who now need food who would never have thought that they'd need it before. And it's not going to end at the end of the financial year or because the 1st of January comes and 2021 comes. Unfortunately, food relief and the services we provide are not going to end very quickly because of what COVID has brought us.
Yeah, it certainly has been a big year. Ronni, you've been doing this for 15 years now. I want to know what you personally have learnt from 2020.
So you're right, 16 years. I think in terms of leadership, it's been the most challenging and the most rewarding to see my team, and that's across the board, all 220 people, pivot, redeploy, and become, we're a frontline organization. Just rise to the occasion has been extraordinary. And yet, of course, to see the devastation and the level of need just rise so quickly has been absolutely humongous. And in a way, though, whilst COVID has been so tragic, there have been silver linings. People, although we have been asked to practice social distance, I think what our leaders meant was physical distance, because we never want to social distance. I think people have tried and made contact in new ways and in so many different areas and angles that I think that has been a positive that has come out of COVID. And also, we did waste a little less food during COVID because suddenly we were at home, we were cooking, we were preparing, and suddenly the value of food has risen again, and we cannot forget that.
It's a pretty good lesson indeed. Hey, Ronni, I better let you get back to your Christmas lunch. What's on the menu?
On the menu today is a lot of vegetarian dishes because we do a lot of vegetarian. But for those who do eat fish, of course, their prawns and their salmon, and then their beautiful salads. And dessert, who could manage without dessert? Chocolate mousse, wonderful cherries, and an exquisite cheesecake with strawberries on it made by my nephew-in-law. How divine is
Beautiful.
that? Actually, grand nephew-in-law. He's all of 15, and he makes the most beautiful cakes.
Sounds like you're in for a beautiful afternoon. Ronni Kahn, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for sharing and asking.